So recently, I rewatched the original Star Wars trilogy for the first time in like 12 or 13 years, and I could not stop thinking about it after I watched it, which is why I made this video. Because something about it, there was this almost like an energy to it, like an essence that I couldn't quite put my finger on, that I just wanted to dissect. And that's what this video was for, and what this whole little series of videos will be for me to talk about these films, because this first element I want to talk about, which will be what this video is about, it's just so strange, and to me, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about these movies that made them not only like the pop culture icons that are still talked about so much to this day, but are what spawned an over $10 billion franchise from just a simple space odyssey. The most obvious thing that I noticed is that there's something that separates these three movies from every other piece of Star Wars media, and that is the fact that they don't really feel like Star Wars trademark movies as much as they are movies that are just great films. The third one comes closest to feeling like a truly Star Wars movie, but it has more to do with the fact of it being the finale and culmination of the previous two movies, whereas every other project, like the prequels or the sequels or all the series, is trying desperately to carry the weight of a Star Wars legacy, instead of just being a movie that exists in the same universe. They aren't trying to be great Star Wars movie, however, in the case of the original trilogy, they're just trying to be great movies, which is very evident from the cinematography, to the music, to the characters, and the overall narrative. It just has such a different vibe that almost makes it feel ethereal, if that makes any sense. Another reason is the fact that it has just such a big part in the pop culture hemisphere, which I think has a lot to do with its unique imagery, with its like immediately recognizable, memorable, and iconic. Whether it's Leia's Episode 4 Space Buns, Darth Vader's mask, C-3PO and R2-D2 on the Death Star, all of these really unique elements are unreplicatable. This is also why these movies are really the only part of the Star Wars franchise that are like widely referenced in media. And I think that also helps them stay out of discourse, because in a way they feel almost too iconic to touch and talk about. Another thing that I noticed on rewatch is that this original trilogy, especially with the first two movies, gives off the impression of we're too cool to be aware of our own existence. Like, they don't know that they are the heart and foundation of every other piece of Star Wars media, that they are a core part of the pop culture zeitgeist, and that everyone is just somehow aware of it, that they created a multi-billion-dollar franchise where they are the only consistent thing that everyone likes, and that the main trio isn't even remotely aware of the fact that they are the main characters, when it seems like every other character in the movies is aware of this. This gives the trilogy almost a degree of separation between itself and the rest of media, and almost transcending pop culture movies and film franchises, even though that's what they are. All of these things I've said culminate into my last point, that being that, as strange as it might sound, it simply feels like it shouldn't exist, but let me explain. The things around it, like the prequels, sequels, series, etc., have an existence that makes sense in my brain, but the original trilogy just feels simply unreal. Like, it's just supposed to be background lore for the media that exists around it, and not just the other Star Wars media, but all media that references this elusive sci-fi space fantasy saga that everyone just knows about, and it makes it feel almost untouchable. And when you're watching it, it just has this certain vibe to it, and I just am so obsessed with it. Just to clarify, this is not some sort of theory on why these movies are so great, or why I think these movies are so amazing and have such a big part of pop culture in their grasp. This is really just my analysis of what I think makes these movies amazing, but this is literally just my opinion, so if you don't agree with me, don't yell at me about it, but let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. Hey guys, so thanks for watching this video. I think this is going to be like a video trilogy is what I'm thinking right now, so the next video will probably be coming around sometime next week, and it'll probably be about one of my favorite themes in those original movies, but I'll talk about that when we get there, you'll see. And then for the third video, I'm gonna analyze the dynamics of the original trio, you know, Luke, Leia, and Han, and what makes them so interesting and fun to watch. So, thanks and bye.